What's going on, my broskies? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. Data download just hit at news time today, introducing a brand new Rumble Sugo Fest. So we know that, the current one that is ongoing is the Kawamatsu Sugo Fest, and that is going to be coming to a close. Replacing it is going to be this, which is going to be this int-driven featured banner. Now, it's kind of fascinating that they're going to be combining both int and driven into this banner, because as we know, int and driven is a very potent combination in Pirate Rumble, and the characters that you see featured here are kind of interesting. We'll talk about it in just a moment, but the new character debuting here is John Bart, which is kind of interesting because, as we know, John Bart is a member of Trafalgar Law's crew, and we know with the new introduction of Law and Kid, that new dual unit, that unit in Pirate Rumble is both a free spirit booster and a driven boosting character. So it's going to be interesting to see how this could potentially synergize with that character. So before we do that, let's have a look at the banner very briefly. It's starting September 1st, so we should get the official announcement tomorrow at news time. You got a discount on the first multi. You've got a legend or a rumble character on the second. You got a legend on the third that is that has rumble abilities leveled up. A guaranteed rumble unit. You get your first guaranteed rumble unit at the fourth step. Then you got the fifth one being a recommended character. So, and then obviously you can cycle through that, but the recommended characters here, you got Smoker, amazing Rumble Rare Recruit. You've got Kanjuro, also very good. You know, he is driven focused, but he actually sees a lot more play on the Striker focused team because Striker do need a little bit more help. They don't have a lot of good Rumble Rare Recruits, so Kanjuro is very good for that. You got Blue Gen. Now, I personally don't even have this character. This guy is a beast. If you're building a driven team, you probably want this guy. He is really, really strong. You've got Apu, which is another character I don't own yet, and I would love to get my hands on this character. I don't know if I'm going to really actively use him a lot in Pirate Rumble per se, but still, it's a character I don't have, so I would like to get him eventually. But then we also have Ulti and Black Maria being featured on this banner as well. Look, to be honest, I don't think this is a banner that you should be looking out for. Like, I don't think this is a banner you should be going hard in for these specific units. Even if this character is a god tier Rumble Rare Recruit, the thing is many people in the community have kind of surmised that there's likely going to be another Super Sugo Fest part to wrap up this whole entire, battle in the skies, decisive battle in the skies Sugo Fest event. So for that reason, I probably would not advise to summon on this banner, but hey, let's talk about what John Bart is capable of doing. Before we do that though, let's get a brief rundown on what Law and Kid can do in Rumble. So here we have Law and Kid, and as we've said, it's a free spirit driven character. Remember, the dual units are not classified as colors in Rumble, they're just classified as their classes. His Rumble ability gives free spirit and driven, 6 attack, 6 health, 6 speed, as well as applying a level 5 attack down and a level 5 defense down against driven powerhouse enemies. It's a pretty good Rumble ability, honestly. And then the special, 35 CT is a bit high, but he says driven powerhouse get a further level 5 defense down, and then a 50% chance of paralysis, but then 3 high HP enemies are inflicted with 3.7 times damage. So what I would like to see potentially from John Bart, without even looking at what he does yet, I would like to see maybe some special CT reduction. I think that would be a really nice way to give this character a bit of a platform. Potentially health cutting effect would be pretty interesting as well. So if you have like a health cut and then you have this guy that can target other high HP enemies for more damage, I think that would be pretty cool too. So let's go ahead back over to John Bart and see what he's capable of doing. So here we have him, the John Bart man himself. He is an int free spirit driven. Interesting just to see free spirit and driven together. It is a very uncommon class combination. Only a very few amount of characters even have this combo in the game, so it's just fascinating to see. But int free spirit driven, captain ability, it's bad, we don't care. Let's put him at 150. His special, 60 times his attack and int damage to a single target, reduces bind and despair by 4 turns. That's actually pretty decent for a Rumble Rare Recruit. If the crew has a damage dealt to enemies with a specific status effect, so if the crew has a conditional boost, when you launch the special, boost int and psi base attack by plus 1000 for 2 turns, Boost damage dealt to defense down by 2.25 for 2 turns otherwise. Dude, this guy's actually not bad as a crewmate, dude. I like that they're doing that because they had this Lauren Kid character where you need to run very specific characters on your crew to actually get the most out of them. You know, where they listed John Bart, Heat, Wire, Beppo, Sachi, Penguin. These are all characters you can use on Lauren Kid's teams in order to activate the certain effects of Lauren Kid. And, you know, we said, well, that's cool and all, but, you know, there's just no good versions of these units in the game. This is a character that actually synergizes pretty well with Lauren Kid. As we know, Lauren Kid do provide 100% defense down to the enemy that goes through immunity. So having this guy's special give you the defense down conditional is really strong. But also, you know, Beppo and Killer, the 2 rare recruits that debuted alongside Lauren Kid, they also have the capabilities of giving you the defense down conditional boost to proc Lauren Kid. But they also have additional effects where Beppo can give you an attack boost, but Lauren Kid already do that. Killer can give you an orb boost. So basically, if you've used all those character specials, you can use this character special to give you a base attack boost instead. Or if you're using this just with Lauren Kid, he can be your defense down conditional booster too, as well as providing bind and despair removal. So while he's not like the most goated rare recruit of all time, we can understand that. I like the fact that they've made this character not worthless. Like, there's still reasons to use this character in normal content. So I do like that about the unit, okay? As for the other effects, recovery slots beneficial, 75 int, or 75 attack to int and psi. Okay, and let's have a look at his Rumble kit. So his Rumble special, driven teammates, 5 attack, 5 HP. Okay, pretty basic. Psi enemies, attack down level 5. If Trafalgar Law is on the team, all enemies, special CT down level 2. Okay, that makes things interesting. So, as I said, I would have loved if he introduced a way to increase the special CT of your crew so that Law and Kid can launch their special a lot faster. But if he's just going to debuff the opponent's special CT, then that kind of does the same thing in a way. So that's kind of cool. I like that. That's not terrible at all. So Psi-type enemies also get level 5 attack down. So it's interesting though, because with Law and Kid, their Rumble ability gives debuffs to Driven and Powerhouse, as well as buffing Driven Free Spirit. But the issue is this guy debuffs Psi, and there aren't many Psi characters that you'll come up against that are also either Driven or Powerhouse. It's not a very common combo in Rumble in terms of the meta. So that doesn't really have a lot of synergy. I wish that this guy, instead of doing Psi attack down, that it was like Driven or Powerhouse enemy attack down level 5. So this guy would have even more synergy with Law and Kid, because that's what they're aiming to do here, right? But either way, it's not a bad Rumble ability at all. Let's have a look at the Rumble special. So 32 CT is also very high. Target 2 enemies with high HP for 30% health cut. Okay, that kind of makes sense, right? So you target 2 enemies for a health cut, and then Lord Kid targets 3 enemies with high HP for damage. So you have this guy and Lord Kid launch. So you're basically reducing the HP of all of your opponent's characters across the board. And it also targets Psi enemies for a 100% chance of halving stats for 15 seconds. That's pretty good. That's very good. If Trafalgar Law is on the team, targets enemies in a large range for level 8 defense down. Wow. Okay. So again, it's the same thing where he does give half stats, but it's only to Psi units, and Law and Kid don't really care about, going against Psi. They care about going against opposing Driven Powerhouse. So there aren't too many times where you're going to come up against just mono Psi with a lot of Driven Powerhouse characters once again. But still, applying half stats is a very useful thing to have. So still, Law Kid plus this guy versus a Psi team is still going to be pretty good. That's a nice combo to start with for real, dude. And a level 8 defense down too. Like, yeah, if this guy's able to go first and then Law Kid follows him up, that's going to be a pretty good combo. Law and Kid are going to do a lot of damage to those enemies. So that's cool. Not a bad Rumble special at all, but 32 CT, definitely on the higher end. That is for sure. And then as for his behavior, he does provide a little bit of a small heal, okay. And he does evade action bind. That's pretty cool. So if you're up against like an opposing V2 Odin, this guy doesn't have to worry about being binded. And he also gives 30% damage reduction against Psi characters as well. So as a Rumble unit, I actually think he's not awful. We've definitely had a lot worse Rumble units come out in the past. This guy's pretty solid, I must admit. He's not a bad unit at all. Is he going to be a meta team on like Driven focused teams or int focused teams? I don't know. I don't think he will, to be honest. I mean, maybe Mono Interview still building the anti-Psy team. I know that characters like Legend Apu, Konus, even Super Type Katakuri, like all of these characters have specials or rumble abilities that can buff int, but also heavily debuff Psy enemies. So this is just adding another layer to that, to these driven teams that are allowing you to build these int-driven teams that are solely focused to destroy Psy teams, and this is another character that you can add to that. The only issue is that there's not a lot of driven Trafalgar laws. That's the big issue, I feel. So it's going to be interesting to see how this kind of progresses moving forward. Potentially we might get another driven law in the future, but as it stands right now, there aren't a lot of them out there. So there we go with John Bart, you know, obviously debuting alongside Ulti Black Maria and Apu. And you got this guy as well, Blue Jam, Conjurer, Smoker. It's not an awful banner, I must admit. Another character that I don't have that I really would love to get a hold of is the Rumble Rare Recruit Fujitora. I still don't have him yet. I know he's a really good character for driven teams. Would love to get him in the future as well. But that's going to wrap it up for me. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about this new Rumble Rare Recruit John Bart down below in the comment section. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. And if you guys did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.